All right, let's go in. Let's hit it. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, okay. Hello. Let's have a look what's inside these junk PCs at the first scrapyard. So that's a first gen, is it?
Yeah, because the sticker.
Okay. All right, let's open it up. Here's another one.
This one, I can't tell.
Okay.
No, it's Core 2.
A Core 2. Leave that aside.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah, that's it.
Haswell.
Okay, that's a Haswell. Okay. Let's check that out.
Yeah, here, you wanna?
Yeah, definitely don't. Well, we're not gonna focusing with that power supply.
No, yeah.
That power supply is like, you don't even risk that, man. It's been sitting out in an open environment, but 1 terabyte. Yeah, cool. That's all right. Let's have a look. i5 2400. That's a bust. Damn. Sweet. What are you looking at here? I have no idea. There's a hard drive in there. Welcome back to Tech Yes City, and we have docked into Taiwan in Taipei, and we are filming now a junkyard PC parts hunt. And this is the first place that we've come to. I'll actually put the name up on the screen because I don't speak a word of Mandarin, but what we've got right here is some PCs that we've pulled apart here, and they've got salvageable parts. Now, these parts are obviously untested coming from junk PCs, but I just quickly go through all these components and look for what could potentially work with a very good chance. Now, you'll notice we've also got one power supply here too, and the reason we picked this one out is because it actually looks really good, and when we were pulling the screws out, none of the screws on the back were rusted. So if you ever come into a power supply at any used store, just have a look at the state of the power supply. If it's got rust in it, I would generally stick away from that power supply. High chance that it could go pump. And if it does that, you're going to be left with not just a headache, but potentially damaged PC parts too. But this one looks like it's really good. Get that, put it on the power supply tester. Then we've got just two 1 terabyte hard drives right here. And they're actually going to do us a whole deal on these three motherboards. So we've got a H81, a H67M, and also a H110 motherboard. And we got this all for 500 NTD, which for untested parts is a bargain for all these right here. Now, the CPUs, they're throwing them in because they're all like Pentiums and just really low-level i3s and i5s, but that's not to worry, because when we get back to Australia with some of these parts, we just put i7s in them, match them with decent graphics cards, and we're good to go in terms of a really good gaming PC. But this is the first place right here that we've hit up. We're actually going to, right now, go to another scrapyard, see what they've got, just absolutely blitzkrieg Taiwan on this first day, and then see what we come up with at the end of the day. Let's get PC parts hunting the real deal way right after today's video sponsor.
Computex 2024 is brought to you by VIP SCD Keys, where you can get Windows 10 and Windows 11 for an absolute bargain price using the coupon BFTYC. Links in description below.
Holy man.
我带回来。
那你赶快先
对对对
拿出来，因为他那边在工作，你一次拿。
OK， 可以。
Hello. How are you?
他说好久不见。
知道，谢谢。5公斤还有吗？
Like, I like dumpster diving as much as the next guy, but damn, there's maggots on one of these PCs. Like, I ain't touching that. Fuck's sake. So that's going to be rusted. Not even worth looking at. The motherboard, though, if we come in and have a look here, got a H110K. Could be okay, so let's see if we can negotiate on that. There's another board that we pulled here, but see the rust on the screws on the thing. I just think this board is not going to work at all. So it's like I'm not even going to bother negotiating on that. This is okay.
Yeah, I looked inside. I know which
okay.
board.
Yeah, the board's okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just take them home.
So we now just finished up at the second scrapyard, and this one had so much dumpster PCs to go through. We spent about a good half an hour just going through all these PCs. Some of them were old school Celeron Ds, DDR2, all that old FX stuff, like not even the FX 8 cores or 6 cores. We're talking like those 4-core APUs, which were really like 2 cores. So I'm just leaving that stuff aside because we got to pack a suitcase full of cream. Now, what we ended up getting in the end was 3 motherboards. One's an H61, a Lenovo, but I usually deal with the Lenovo's. They can be pretty good on budget flips. i5, but it's stacked full of DDR3 RAM. Now, there's also an H81ME here, and that's also got an i5, some DDR3 RAM. Then there's an H110 DDR4 set here with an i5. So that's actually not too bad. Followed by an SSD, which is a 120 gig, a GTX 750, and then a GTX 960 4GB. So all this, we got this for 1000 NTD, and we got the stuff here that looks good. So most of the stuff here, it had a lot of visible signs of rust, and even if it was a part that I want, if it's got too much rust on it, from my experience, it is just not going to work. So I just don't bother with that stuff anymore, because by the time I waste my time testing it, there's a high chance that it doesn't work. So I just went through the stuff and got all the stuff that had very little signs of rust. Especially with motherboards and graphics cards, easiest way to check is just the back plate. If you see rust on the back plate or the I/O, just don't bother with it. It's just going to save you time, and just leave that for scrap and to get recycled. But this stuff here, I think we've got some of the winners out of this junkyard. Let's go to the next place and see what bargains we can find.
Because this one got the more RAM slots.
Yeah, and I have there's like 40 Aussie, like 30 USD, a bit out of my way.
Okay. Board only.
Yeah, would you do H81 for 500?
We'll buy.
All right, we'll do that one too. Yeah, chuck that on the pile. Yeah, we'll do him.
Okay, Kyle.
Yeah, cool. What's this one?
我要给你400块啊，因为我卖500，所以要给你400。
Okay.
400.
Alright. The pins are perfect.
Yeah.
So we're now coming out of the final place here. I'll put the name of this place up on the screen for you. And the good thing about it is they've got a phone number and also a proper shop that people can come into. Though I will tell you guys, if you want to come here, you will have to speak Mandarin. And that's why I've got Marco here, because he can speak the native tongue fluently. I mean, all I know in Mandarin is Ni Hao and also Wojan Brian. Inside, coming out, this is my favorite store in Taiwan. And the reason being is we'll show you the deals that we got here for starters. They had 2 third-generation motherboards. One of them was actually 2nd generation, but the ladies already updated the BIOS to support 3rd generation. And then the best thing is we paid 400 NTD, which I think's around 15 US dollars, maybe a little bit less, for a working motherboard that we've seen working on the spot. And then the Haswell board, that was 500 NTD. That's what we had negotiated. So that's around a little under 20 USD. And so for these prices, and you couple it in with an i7 16GB of DDR3 memory, you've got a really good deal here on used parts to make budget entry-level Fortnite PCs and whatnot. So really happy with the deals coming out of this place. But the best thing about this place is that the lady is one of, if not the quickest person I've seen in terms of testing PC parts out and getting to the bottom of whether something works or not. I've never seen someone so fast at testing PC parts before. And every time I've been here over the years, the strike rate is just so good. I've never seen her miss a beat. And when she's sold me stuff and I've tested it back in Australia and put it in gaming PCs, it's all worked absolutely fine. Which ultimately means that she knows what she's doing when it comes to screening the used PC parts and identifying which ones maybe be flaky and might not work in a couple of days or even a month's time, as opposed to the ones that have a lot of life left in them. So this place is an absolute goldmine. Favorite store in Taiwan by far. And if you guys are looking for a deal and you speak Mandarin, like old mate Marco here from Azus Tour, we'll give him a bit of a shout out here from Azus Tour NAS. Yeah. Then make sure you can come here and get a deal. Anyhow, guys, it's rainy season, I believe, in Taiwan. So it just started raining here. We're going to go head back to the hotel and unpack a few things and then also get to a conclusion in this scrapyard hunt. So it's now starting to get a little bit dark outside. We just got back to the hotel room here and unpacking everything and looking at all the parts that we got here in today's PC parts hunt at the scrapyards. We ended up really tallying things up for such a cheap price. When I looked at that USD price for everything we got here, I was actually shocked at the kind of deals that are going on right now, because we've got here 9 motherboards in total. Yes, they're not the latest and greatest stuff and they're not new, but a lot of those motherboards came with DDR3 and there was some sort of half-decent CPUs, at least in one of them, that i5-6500. And then there was also a power supply, which was an FSP. I'm going to still see if that works or not. But then we had 2 GPUs, a GTX 750 and a GTX 960. So all this under $90 in today's parts scrapyard hunt shows you that this is where I guess the best of the best deals can be had. And I found this is a similar story in Australia, especially when I was hitting up recycling centers, and also in once upon a time Japan, when I used to hit up those junk sections and they had really good deals going on untested stuff. But in Japan, of course, if you guys may or may not know, since a few years ago, a lot of the junk stores started to test the junk out, and anything that worked, they then started to uptick the pricing on that. But it's good to see that Taiwan still got some of these scrap yards where you can pull parts, especially if you're on an extreme budget, as opposed to, say, Japan, where it's really hard to do that nowadays. But all in all, I'm just really blown away by what we've got here today. Now, the untested parts, I'm actually going to send them to Marco, and he's got an ultrasonic cleaner. So he's actually going to do a really good favor for us. And he's going to clean them out and then test them out before I go back to Japan. And he's going to tell me, well, these work, these don't. And so I can also carry on only the cream of the crop in terms of what I'm putting in my suitcase. Now, in terms of what works and what doesn't, I'll actually update the description in the comments below on what ends up working and what doesn't, so you guys know the statistics and what the success rate I had in today's scrapyard hunt. And with all that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll put the tally up on the screen again for you guys on what we got here today. But coming out of this, I'm really shocked at how good a value stuff is on the used market right now. And it's really sort of the similar trend that I've been seeing in Japan and Australia in terms of used deals. And that is they keep getting better. And now I think some of that would have to do with the United States dollar, but I also think as well, things are getting tough in the economy. And what I'm seeing here in Taiwan is inflation is hitting here just as hard as it's hitting in Japan, just as hard as it's hitting in Australia too. So it's when you speak to people about inflation, it's something of a sort of a down talking point, especially for me when I talk to people here who speak English. People who speak Mandarin, I got no clue. I don't speak the lingo. But if you speak to people here and they speak English, yeah, it's like inflation is a talking point here too. And it's unfortunate in the Asian countries because they're especially not used to sort of any form of inflation. And so in Taiwan and Japan especially, inflation's hitting these countries a lot harder, I think, than it's even hitting Australia. And that's sort of hard to sort of fathom because inflation's really hit Australia hard. And I know the guys in the US as well. It's really hit them hard too. But in terms of tech yes-onomics, we will keep this one a bit short. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Tomorrow, I do intend to go around and look at just dedicated used PC parts stores and places that have deals. We'll even check out Facebook Marketplace here, see what we can get in terms of deals after this scrapyard hunt. This one was sort of the hard one where we had to do a lot of travel, a lot of transit. It actually took a lot out of me. So sorry in this outro if I'm like low on energy, but this one really took it out of me. I think we did in total like 5 hours transit for about 3 hours of actual action at the junk scrapyard places. So definitely a lot of transit involved if you want to hit up a few different places while you're here. But at the same time, do remember, if you want to do what we did here today, you're going to have someone who definitely speaks Mandarin, because it's pretty much impossible if you don't speak the lingo here to go into these places and talk to the people and organize deals. But with that said, if you don't want to do it and you enjoy watching the Tech Yes content and me just getting my hands dirty, then do hit that like button and do let us know in the comment section below what was your favorite deal of the day here. I look forward to seeing you in the next used PC parts hunt tomorrow's video, which I think is going to be a lot more doable for the average person, even if you don't speak Mandarin, as I did do some of these stores in the past without any help. And so that one, and if you guys have stayed this far and you're enjoying that Tech Yes content, you're not yet subbed, you want to see the content as soon as it drops, hit that sub button, ring that bell, because we've got heaps of juicy Computex 2024 content coming up, where I've been also getting some ears into the rumors that have been going around. Definitely some good stories to be told in the upcoming videos, especially talking about Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA, all those big three and what they've got coming. And there's definitely going to be a lot of big news announced at this Computex, so do stay tuned for that. I look forward to giving you guys the whole spill and then some. And now, with all that aside, if you guys enjoyed this video as well as the now working Aliexpress microphone, then be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Also, this microphone, I can recommend it now. The one that I had in the previous video, it did have some faulty thing with it. The seller replaced it for me, and I think it's working perfectly now. So you should be getting good audio with this thing. I'll put the links in the description below if you want to check it out, because I'm happy to recommend this one because I feel like it's a decent microphone, at least from what I've tested so far. Anyhow, catch you in the next one. Peace out for now. Bye.